Hello and welcome back to part 27 of my journey towards my Bachelor's of Science Information Technology degree from Western Governors University. In today's video, we're going to talk all about the capstone, which is class number C769, and it's worth 4 credit units. So what is the capstone? Well, if those who don't know, it's the final paper that you have to write to complete your degree program. Really, it's just a combination of everything you've learned so far, and you've kind of put it into one kind of capstone report. Now, it's not quite as simple as that, and there's several different stages, and I'll go over them during this video, but that's ultimately what it is. So let me give you what WGU describe it as. This is their official term. The capstone project consists of technical work proposal, the proposal implementation, and a post-implementation report that describes the graduate's experience in developing and implementing the capstone project. The capstone project should be personal and approved by the mentor in relation to the graduate's technical emphasis. So let's talk about what Western Governors University provide for part of this class. Well, it's actually pretty good, and you get quite a lot of support here. First of all, as always, when you sign up for the class, you're going to get that welcome email. And in that welcome email, there's going to be some links to some various sites. The most important one there is the Google support site. If you click on there, you'll get prompted to log in with your WGU credentials. And from there, it's basically broken down for you really clearly, step by step. Step 1, watch this video. Step 2, basically that kind of thing. From there, you can also download the different tasks, the templates. There's links to the capstone archive. But most importantly there's the videos. Watch the videos. Watch them over and over again. If you do that, you're going to have no problems at all, because basically the videos are going to spell it out for you step by step. This is what you've got to do for task 1. Make sure you've got this and this before you submit your task. And then task 2, same thing. So really focus on those videos and watch them. And that way you really can't get it wrong if you follow it. Because like I said, the videos are quite... they're not defined specifically for this particular degree program. It's just a capstone project overall. So some of the examples the course instructor gives may not be relevant to your degree program, but you'll get the idea about what the people that are grading your paper are looking for. So really, you can't go wrong if you just use that Google support site and the videos. And then obviously the rubric. Rubric is so important. So let's go over the 3 different tasks that make up this particular class. So first of all is task 1, and really task 1 is easiest of the 3, and it really is just about coming up with an idea. And maybe that actually might be the toughest part, because some people might struggle, but the good news is there's plenty of resources. So first of all, you could go out to the capstone archive, which is available from the Western Governors University site, and look at some of the other capstone reports that have been written by previous graduates. That's a good start. Now clearly you can't just copy what they've used, but the idea is there. At least you can get something like that. There is lots of different sites on the web. You can maybe Google to get some ideas, or ultimately you could just contact your CI, which is your course instructor, and maybe they can help you come up with some ideas. Now, a little tip from me is basically start thinking about this, not the day that you start the capstone class, but as you're doing your degree program, because there might be some stages during that you might think, well, this actually might be quite a good project idea during your studies. Or if you're at work and you're seeing different projects that are going on, think about, well, maybe they could work for a project. So for me, that's what I did. Simply the job that I have the last few years, I did some consulting, and there was one particular task that happened quite regularly. So what I did was I kind of thought about how I could turn that into my project. Now, clearly you can't use the exact names and companies involved, etc. But you can certainly get the framework, the idea, and then basically, like I did, you can change the names, and change the ideas, and basically, but just use the main idea. And that's what I did. So I would suggest that might be the easiest thing you can do. So for task 1 is once you've come up with that idea, you have to complete a form, and it's that simple. You download the template from the website. From there, you can basically just complete the template. You then submit it to your course instructor for approval. Once they've approved it, what they'll do is they'll send it back with a signed, like a PDF. And from there, along with another template that you have to download, which is basically a liability kind of a few questions you have to just make sure you sign and complete, make sure that nothing that you're using is confidential, and then you go ahead and submit it to TaskStream. From there, you just wait to make sure or to find out whether it's approved. So once you get the task 1 come back and it's approved, your projects are basically been approved, ready to go, you can start task 2, which is probably the longest one of the 3 involved in this class. And the reason why is this is the proposal report. Now, if you look through the information they give you as part of the rubric and the videos that they'll provide as well, this paper may be potentially 20 odd pages long. So this is going to be fairly long, but if you follow the different steps, the task, you're going to be fine. Basically, there's about 12 different kind of sections that you have to complete. And basically, you're proposing the project. So basically from start to finish. So you're going to give like a general overview of what's happening, why this project is required, and then basically you're going to follow the steps, like I said, and you're going to complete, what you expect. The proposal is what you kind of expect, how you think the project's going to go across, and there's even an area about potential problems that you might come across. But for the most part, that's it. Remember, this is a proposal. This is for something that's going to happen in the future, and that's really important that you get that kind of in your mindset, because it is very different from the mindset for the final task, which is coming up next. So once the proposal report is approved and it comes back, you then have to write the actual capstone. Now, the big difference between the proposal and the capstone report is the capstone is what happened. So the proposal is what you expect to happen, and then the capstone is, after the project's complete. Basically, you're going to follow very similar steps. There are some similarities, so you're going to use a lot of what you wrote in task 2 for task 3. I wouldn't say necessarily full cut and paste, but there's certainly some areas you're just going to change the kind of phrase from future to past, hence presence. So that's basically what you're doing. And again, you're going to follow the template, the rubric they provide, and the videos. And from there, you're just going to basically complete the report. Ultimately, this could take a long time. I mean, your capstone report, mine was close to 40 pages, but I mean, I've read things online and speaking to the course instructors, it doesn't necessarily have to be that. As long as you're ticking the boxes and you're providing exactly what they're looking for, this might only be 20 pages for you. It just depends on your particular project and how many goals you have, deliverables and objectives, or objectives and deliverables. So what I will say is try and keep it simple, but basically be detailed. That's what they're looking for the most. And you'll see that in the videos and in the rubric. They're looking for details. So make sure you use the experience that you've had as part of your course to really fill in the detail. You give them information. They're looking for you to show and showcase your skills, things that you've learned, to make sure you fully understand what this project was about and what the different steps were. Ultimately, once you've finished all 3 tasks, that's it. You submit the capstone report, and obviously you then wait to find out whether they've accepted it or not. So for me, using the task stream in the Western Governors University website, I think for task 2 and 3, they kicked it back once. So don't be surprised if there's something they don't quite like. I think that's pretty normal. Just like any other time that you've completed one of these written type papers, there's not enough detail or there's something missing. So for me, they didn't like my dates in my project plan in task 2. And in task 3, they felt like there wasn't enough sources in one of the sections. So basically, I had to come up with a couple more sources. And other than that, they were perfectly fine with it. So some tips for you. First of all, make sure you use Grammarly if you can get it. Remember, I've talked about this before. It's free. There's a free version. They actually provide a link as part of the course material. You can buy like a discount for students. Now, I'm not sponsored by Grammarly, please don't say that, but you can use any other type of writing tool if you like, but they encourage it. And what it does is it just helps you with, especially if you're not used to writing papers, it can really help you get your terminology right and how you can set up your writing skills. Again, you don't have to use it, but for me it was really useful, along with spell check and obviously things like that. But it's free, so why not you use it? Write a draft first of all, and don't just submit the draft. So basically get all your ideas out on a piece of paper, write it out, and then basically go back and then you can modify it. And then once you're happy with it, reread it again, get someone else to reread it. And that way, make sure it makes sense, because sometimes when you're just blurring it all out and you're typing it all out, sometimes it doesn't always run smoothly. And, we saw that with some of the English papers, Comp 1, Comp 2. That was kind of the recommendation there as well. So basically, write the paper as a draft, reread it, get someone else to read it, and then submit it. And I think if you do that, you're less likely to get it kicked back for whatever reason. Ultimately, don't be worried about this particular this part of the class. And this is obviously most people's final class on the project or on their degree plan. It's really just an extensive English paper. It's a report. And like I said, they're looking for detail, they're looking for length, they're looking for specific things. Just follow the rubric, follow the videos, the videos they provide, the course instructors have put together, and you'll be fine. Just step by step, follow it, watch the videos, check the rubric, make sure it's what they're looking for, move on. If you do that, you're going to have absolutely no problems at all. Like I said, this isn't too bad at all. In total, I think maybe I spent possibly a week on this. Now, I did put some long hours. There was days I was up until 3-4 in the morning. But, ultimately, I put the time in maybe, 20, 30 hours, maybe a bit more in total. But it was actually a pretty quick win. What I really liked about this was they turned the score around really quickly. I found out pretty quickly that if they didn't like something, like I said, when they kicked it back in stage 2 and 3. But ultimately, I got my report back with the green check pretty quickly. And that's it. I'm down to one class. So with this class finished, the score. One class left, just the Linux Essentials class. So that's going to be my focus for the next few weeks. Hopefully I'll get this done in early March. So my next video will be finally just kind of that whole experience. And if you'd watched, previous video I did about, I actually failed the first time around. So this is kind of a redo. So I'm just going to refocus my efforts on passing that class and then finally completing this degree program. So that's all I have for today. Hope your study is going really well. Have a good one. I'll speak to you soon and take care.